Apologies for the abrupt departure from the previous video. There was a task that demanded my immediate attention. So in this video we will continue where we left off from last time. Let's see, so yep, there we go. I will... oh, so I probably clicked on the wrong... there we go. Last time we stopped at the letter afternoon, which we said is similar to the letter ha in terms of articulation points or emission points, and that is the letter known as ha. That is the correct transliteration of that letter. This letter is somewhat complex in its design, but once you understand the basic geometry, it will be extremely simple to draw or write. You start off with a triangle. The left side is truncated from the bottom, it is not full. Once you reach to the apex, you extend fully to the line on your notebook, that is, a straight line on the right side. Once you land on the line, you extend a straight line to the left, then finish the triangle with a circle, like that. Once you land, you extend to the left for another straight line. So we will draw it again. The left side is truncated. Once you reach the apex, continue onwards to the right side. Do not know why my lines are not straight. Then, like so, push to the left, complete the circle, then push to the left once more. This letter is he, and as you can tell from its pronunciation, it is similar to the letter ha. Just remember, in ha, we do not write it as ha, because the letter ha does not exist in the Latin alphabet. So this letter is known as he. So let's join that letter with the other ones. This will be a bit difficult. Let's see. Up, down, left, circle, left again. 2 more letters to go before we end with the alphabets. The other 2 letters, so we covered the vowel, the first vowel, and it was the only vowel for a while. The last 2 letters are also vowels that could be used as consonants depending on the circumstances. The next letter is called waw. Oh, let me cover it step by step how to draw it. So waw starts, imagine this is the line on your notebook. Waw would be a circle like that. Once you end it, drop like you drop in the ra. Drop with a curvature like that. So a circle, then drop with a curvature. Circle, and drop with a curvature. This letter is known as waw. I do not wish to write it like that because this is wow in English. It is not the same pronunciation as wow. Is there let me see if there's a word in English that we can use. What, when, why? Perhaps the word why, the beginning part, the wa, instead of saying I, it would be wow. Oh, I think I changed something. Okay. If I change it back to black, is it good to go? Yep. So it would be wow. It is somewhat a heavy wow. So instead of wow, you say wow. Let's delete all of that, and we will write it here. In the next lecture, God willing, we will discuss how to differentiate between a vowel and a consonant. So if you look at a word, how do you know that this waw in a word is a consonant or if it is a vowel? The same applies for the alif and for the last letter of the alphabet, which is the ya. Now let us see. So let us draw the line on your notebook like that. The ya will have a small head, and then just pretend you're drawing an S, but instead of an S like so on the line, the top part will be on the line and the bottom part will be beneath the line, with a large curvature like you see in the noon or in the sheen or the salt. So you know what, let's try this again from the beginning. You'll draw this, and then so a curvature like that, a C if you would like. Then you draw an opposite C like so, curve upwards beneath the line. And we add 2 dots. Remember, these 2 dots are important because there is a special letter that we will cover in the next lecture, God willing, that doesn't have the dots. We will see it in the next lecture. No need to overwhelm you with information right now. So we will draw it again without the line. A C, then a larger C, then curve upwards, and the 2 dots. This letter is called ya. Not ya, yeah. So if you want to use, if you're recalling the search engine Yahoo, it would be Yahoo, not Yahoo. So we will write it here. And there, we are all done with the Arabic letters. I will pull the cursor away here. If you would like to take a picture of this list and print it at home, feel free to do so. I will also provide this image or this picture in the description box as well for reference if you would like to use that. I'll also provide a neater version of this with the letters written using computer fonts instead of handwritten. Feel free to use whichever is commensurate for you. I'll also mark the vowels with a different color. So I will place, that did not change the color. I'll probably use the mouse for that one. So this letter is a vowel. This letter is a vowel. And this letter is a vowel. Normally I would not include the accent with it because this accent means that the alif is a consonant. But to avoid having to ruin the letter, I will circle it or emphasize it in a rectangle as a whole, as opposed to identifying the differences, because we will cover vowels in greater detail in the next lecture, God willing, and how to determine if this letter is a vowel or if it is a consonant. Very easy system to identify. It simply requires practice with the diacritics. Finally, just so that you are able to practice drawing the shape, we will draw the accent Hamsa as well. So the Hamsa is, imagine and a 2 pointing to the right or open to the right instead of to the left. But instead of drawing a long diagonal line like so, it will be slightly shorter. Think of it as the head of the Ain letter, the top part, without curving to the bottom. So, if this is the line on your notebook, you will do a C like so, and then push a straight line to the left, like so. That would be your accent, drawn by itself. We will cover accents in a separate lecture because there are different types of accents. Ones that are drawn in this way and ones that are drawn in a different way. So we will have a separate lecture for all the accents. For now, or rather in this particular lecture, I would simply like to highlight the art form or the drawing style of each letter. I'll write the Hamza here so that it is not lonely. One tries to be fair in every aspect, because if you are fair in the smallest of details, you are fair in the largest of schemes. And there you have it, all the letters. There are 2 special letters that are not included here because they are not normally listed in the alphabet. Those 2 we will cover in the diacritic lecture, the one which is after this one. So, I'll save this. And while it is saving, let us take a look at the naso-oropharyngeal section. The articulation points, or in Arabic, makharij al-huruf. Makharij is plural for makhraj, which means exit. Huruf is plural of harf, which means letter. So the exits of the letters, or exit of a letter if you wish to use the singular form. Let me zoom in here. I apologize if it is somewhat pixelated. I'll try to draw the letter in a larger form on the side here to help with imagination. We will start with the letters that require the lips, then we will move onwards until we are at the pharyngeal letters, or the guttural letters. Firstly, you will see that the letter Waw requires the lips. As it says here, bilabial. Labial in medical terminology means lips, and I do not know if the root is Greek or Latin, perhaps even French, because Latin, Greek, and French are normally used in medical terminology. And the prefix bi means 2, so 2 lips. The Waw does use 2 lips, however, they do not come in contact. So if the lips are open that way, here's your upper lip and your lower lip, and the mouth is here. If you wish to pronounce the Waw, you will have to purse your lips slightly to create the sound. Hence why it is a bilabial letter, because it requires both lips. However, you are moving them inwards to create a small hollow cavity within the oral cavity here, or at your at the stoma, mouth opening, sorry. The letter Mim as well, Mim, requires the lips for pronunciation. However, with Mim, you start with the lips open, and it ends with the top lip and the bottom lip closing on one another. Mim. the M sound, if you are pronouncing it in English or German or French, perhaps Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese as well. I am not sure about those. You will require, you will bring the distance between the two lips closer together until they are implanted on one another for the pronunciation. So we will. Does this have? No, it doesn't have shortcuts. Okay. Next we have the letter B, and with B you start with your lips closed, and then you open your mouth for the letter to be enunciated. B, which is this letter, the pot, or what did we call it? Pan, sorry, the pan. The pan with the dot beneath it. Then the letter Fa. Fa is slightly inwards here, as you can see, and I'll write it here. The half qaf, half pan letter. Fa does not require the lips prominently. It does when you have to close the distance between the two lips, but mostly it requires the teeth. Fa. Your bottom teeth have to strike at the top lip, as if you are saying the letter F. Exactly the same, except in the letter F, it ends with the sound. The letter Fa, it starts with the sound. Then we move on to Zay, and Zay is a lingual letter, which refers to the tongue. Sorry, I think these are the teeth and that is the tongue. Zay, the letter Zay requires the tongue. Sheen also requires the tongue. Sod requires the tongue, but also the cheeks. Oh, it's not the buccal cavity, I think it's the buccal cavity, regardless of how you pronounce it. So it also requires the cheeks. So with the cheeks, you have to, let me think of a way to approximate. You'll have to form a box with your lips and your cheek. You have to narrow the hollow cavity in your mouth, and with your when you are pronouncing with your tongue, try to rub the tongue along the molars of your teeth. That helps with the pronunciation as well. Let me just draw the lips here. Sod. And I will write it here as well. Sod. Then we have these letters in, I believe that is orange. Zal, Tha, and Dha. Those require the top teeth and the tongue. Zal, as we said, has the same sound as the word that, or then, or though, or the, / the. That TH sound, that is there. Tha, however, is slightly inwards, as you can see from the diagram here. And these letters are grouped by location. So all of these letters have similar articulation points. These three letters have the same or similar articulation points, and so on and so forth. For Tha, the pan with the three letters, it is the sound from the word thought. It is not thought, it is thought. That is the sound of Tha. Dha is a heavy dhal, and it helps if you pronounce it similarly to Sod, but instead of using your tongue by itself, attach or connect the tongue with the teeth as well, while forming the narrow hollow cavity with your cheeks and your lips. Vaw. And I will write it down here as well. And a dot. Then we move on to these three letters in yellow, which require the tongue moving upwards slightly towards the palate. Firstly, the letter te, which is the T sound, the pen with the two dots. So if you wish to say the word T, there's the te sound. What else could you say? The tata box, and that is molecular biological term, the tata box, which is a sequence of the T base pairs and the adenine base pairs attached to the mRNA. A scientific joke. I know my jokes are terrible, but I love them. Then we have law. Sorry, I thought we were at this. This is the te, and when you pronounce T or te, you will feel that the tip of your tongue is touching your palate just behind your upper teeth. Then we have del, the letter del, which is the D sound. So if you say dad, for example, it is not the same because dad and del slightly different, but it is the D sound. So if you say the letter D and del, they have the same movement. The tongue will touch behind your upper teeth. Or the word deal, that has the del sound. Then lastly, another heavy letter, which is somewhat difficult for non-Arabic speakers, ta. The tip of your tongue must touch the palate behind your teeth. It is a heavy te. But if it helps, form the hollow cavity with your cheeks and purse your lips to make a narrow hollow cavity within your mouth, while pressing your tongue to the palate behind your teeth. Paw. Paw. Then we move slightly inwards, where the tip of your tongue touches your palate. However, it is further away from your upper teeth. And these are these three letters. You have lam, and the best way to remember, or the best mnemonic for lamb, is the word lamb in English. Unless you do not prefer lamb and you prefer chicken, for example. Then we have the letter noon, and if you say the word noon in English, you will feel where the tip of your tongue touches the palate. Noon, the N sound. Just as the M sound uses the lips, the N sound uses the tip of the tongue and the palate. Lastly, and this letter may be difficult for some, the letter ra. I know that there are people who struggle with rolling the R's, but you have to roll the R, and it is a heavy R. It is not it is ra, and it is not R, it is ra. The difference between this letter and those two letters is that the tip of the tongue repeatedly touches the palate, because, as we said earlier, one of the traits of ra is repetition. And I do not know if it will not fit, sorry. It's repetition. Oh wait, I can write it here. That is one of the traits of R. Similar to Sheen. Sheen has a sibilant or a slight hiss to it. That is a trait of Sheen. In Arabic it is called a whisper, because when you say Sheen, it feels that it starts with a whisper. So with R it is repetition. So you must feel the tip of your tongue strike the top of your the palate multiple times. It is the same sound as a chainsaw. Or what was it called? Sorry, not maybe a chainsaw, a jackhammer. Yes. Also, for those who snore heavily, that sound, I believe it is called a jackhammer. Or compared to a jackhammer, that is what I meant. That is the R sound. Or the raw sound, sorry. I think I said R. Now we move to these four letters. This letter is highlighted in a different color. We will see why in just a moment. Oh, I think I should move this picture upwards to show you these. Yeah. So here it is the alveolar dental, alveola or alveoli, or alveolus, sorry. AR means pertaining to. It's a suffix that simply means pertaining to. The root is the one here, alveola. And that is the pocket in which your teeth are inserted. The root of the teeth. Well, I should not say root of the teeth because the tooth does have a root, but the part of the root that is embedded in your gingiva or your gum, that is called an alveolus. Similar to the alveolus in the lungs, they are called alveolus because the word alveolus means a small pocket, an empty pocket, like that. That is why the alveoli in the lungs are called alveoli, because they're small pockets of air. The same applies to your teeth. So if you look at the gingiva or the gum, it is hidden, of course, thankfully, because if it was not, you will have multiple infections in your teeth. The tooth will have, so let's say a molar will have its two roots embedded within a space, and then you see the top part or the crown or the enamel. I hope there are no dentists watching this, because I somewhat forgot the dental terminology. I have not spoken in dental jargon in quite a while. Besides, it is not my specialty. So we will cover the first letter, which is G. I know I compared it to a camel, but that is my outlook on it. You may find a different, I believe there is a dinosaur head that mirrors this. It has an extension at the back of its head, or perhaps on its neck. I'll probably have to watch Jurassic Park again. This letter is called G, and your tongue will definitely touch the palate. However, if you look at the distance, it is much further away from the dental, the alveolar, and the alveolar dental letters. This will definitely touch the palate. You can say this is the midpoint of your palate. And to remember the letter, simply recall the word jump. It is not jump, it is jump. Jump. In Arabic, that j sound, that is called making it thirsty in Arabic, ta'tish, but I do not know how to translate it properly into English, so that is as close as I can get. That j sound is when the jim is thirsty, more or less. Well, if you call the character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Jojo, not Jojo, Jojo. That if you watch anime, of course. If not, then simply focus on this word here. Oh, I think I chose the wrong function. Another letter that requires the tongue and the palate is the letter or palatal letters, as they are called. Palatal means pertaining to the palate. The letter Sheen. Sheen, and it is slightly N-words compared to Jim. Jim requires the first, I guess you could say the first third of the tongue, because the tongue is normally divided into an anterior third and a posterior 2/3, but that is anatomical division. The letter Sheen is exactly the same as the word sheen, which would mean glimmer or slight brightness to a surface, or the actors Martin and Charlie Sheen. If you play Mass Effect 2 and 3, Martin Sheen is a voice actor in that game. Then we have the letter Y, and it does not quite touch the palate, but you may feel your tongue slightly elevating itself towards the palate. It does not necessarily have to touch the palate. The word yeah. It requires lingual movement, but it does not necessarily require palatal connection or contact. Is there a word in English? I cannot think of a word in English that has a Y and the same yeah sound. Probably the word yes, I would say. Or actually, the word ye. Although it is rarely used, but ye, that is a yeah sound. Then we come to the letter Dod. Dod is similar to Sod. However, it requires the molars more than Sod. Sod would make it easier for you if you rub your tongue. This is a top view of the tongue. If you rub your tongue against your molars and premolars while enunciating, it would help. You do not have to do it though. However, with Dod, you most likely will have to use your molars. Dod. And in this part of the tongue will touch the palate in the beginning of the word. Dod. Where's the del? I can't believe I lost the del. There we go, del. Dod. Dod. All of the letters that have the A in between will always end with a del. So Sod, Dod. These all end with a del. So it would be Dod. Dod. And as you can see, compared to Sod, it is coming from the tongue, or almost the back part of the tongue compared to Sod. Oh, and I forgot to draw it for the graphics tablet is quite uncooperative in Paint, and I do not know why it is writing by itself. Let me see. There we go. Dot. This letter will definitely take you some time, as well as Sod and Dha and Ta, but I promise you, with repetition and practice, you will be able to pronounce it flawlessly. I have seen progress in both Arabic speakers and non-native Arabic speakers who had difficulties with such letters, but with determination they were able to speak it. So I do not want you to worry too much about these letters. Then we have a simple letter which requires the posterior part of the tongue, and as you can see, it is the uvular, pertaining to the uvula. The uvula is this fleshy part at the back of your mouth. If you open your mouth in a mirror, you will see a bulbous extension dangling. Some people like to call it a punching bag. If that is how you wish to refer to it, go ahead. Slightly in the area before the uvula, that is where you will find these two letters. Firstly is the kaf. Kaf. It uses the tongue, but if you feel it, the K sound, very back of the tongue. Then the heavy K or the heavy kaf is qa, 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 qaf, qa, 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 qa. You will actually feel your thyroid cartilage move and your throat move with it, because as you can see, it is almost at the beginning of the throat. Qaf, qaf. Then the throat or the pharyngeal or the esophageal letters themselves, they are all grouped together. However, they have slightly different locations. So we will begin with, where's the cursor? There we go. We will cover the kha and the ghain at the top part. And it is not drawing for some reason. Kha, so it's the same shape as the ha. The ha is here, and the jim, but with the dot at the top. And ghain. Ghain. This is the spitting sound, as if you're preparing phlegm. And this is the gargling sound. And I actually knew someone who was unable to gargle. So if you do not know how to gargle, it simply involves you tilting. So let's say this is the head. Tilting your head chin upwards and holding the water in this part here while pushing air onto it to have it held. It's not actually that far back, it is somewhere here. And the water will bubble as you gargle with the air before you spit it out again. That is the gargle. What people do with solutions such as Listerine, for example, for oral prophylaxis. And the kha is normally it is said to be the KH sound in English. However, I've never seen people say kha when they use KH. They normally pronounce the K without the H. So I will not transliterate it as that to avoid confusion. Then other two difficult letters, ha, and as we said, same shape as jim and kha, and the letter ayn. Hopefully visualizing where the letter emanates from throughout the mouth would help with the pronunciation. If not, simply listening to the letter being pronounced either through my videos or someone else's videos. I am pretty certain there are people who have prepared better videos than myself. If you listen to the letter repeatedly, you will be able to pronounce efficiently. We have the letter ha, ha, and ayn. Remember to end it with the ayn sound. Ayn sound. And remember, when you enunciate a letter, the part related to it must move. So if you're not feeling it move, you're not pronouncing it correctly. Lastly, we have the h, which is the H sound in English, and the alif. However, this is somewhat misleading. This is not the emission point or the articulation point of alif. It is actually the hamza. Hamza is a glottal letter or a glottal accent where the epiglottis is. The epiglottis is the protrusion that blocks the trachea if someone is swallowing. That way, when they swallow, the food does not drop into the trachea, which would lead to choking or death, God forbid. So technically, alif, the letter alif, when we take the vowel version or the vowel form of that letter, it will depend on the letter before it as a vowel. However, as a consonant, you are not enunciating alif, you are enunciating the hamza. The last part of the throat. And remember, it is glottal, so it is besides the epiglottis, which is at the bottom of the pharynx, before the opening of the esophagus and the trachea. So remember, you are enunciating the hamza, alif, when you pronounce it as a consonant. As a vowel, we will see how it is enunciated in the next lecture. I will also have this image in the description below, so do not worry if you would like it. Or you could, I found this on Google image search. I simply typed articulation points or Arabic letter exits or Arabic letter articulations. You will find it there. I do not remember the source, to be quite honest. I do not claim ownership over this picture. My art is definitely not that beautiful. But I will leave it in the description below as well, if I can find the link. If not, I can leave it as a Google Drive link. If I'm unable to do that for any of the documents, I will leave it as such. That way you can print it at home as well. Let me see if I can zoom in. So here is the bottom part, here is the top part, and here is the full image. Lastly, I will end this video with, I will also provide the full alphabet, including the hamza as well. However, I do not want you to rely on the English transliteration for certain letters, as we discussed, such as this, for example. Unless you understand these strange accents on the letters, you would be able to pronounce it or enunciate it. If not, ignore them completely for the letters such as ha or ayn or ghayn. The other letters, you would be able to pronounce them with the English transliteration, hopefully. What else did I want to cover? Oh, yes, I remembered an important point. For the letters that have the at the end, remove the hamza accent. The addition of the Hamza accent is a distortion or a deviation of the Arabic language that occurred when slang dialects became more prominent than the proper Arabic dialect. You will hear it quite often in videos, even professional videos. They will always pronounce ba, and they add the Hamza at the end, so you will hear a Hamza, ba. That is incorrect. It is ba, not ba. Here it is ta, not ta. Tha, not tha. Ha, not ha. No Hamza. Kha, not kha. Ra, not ra. That is incorrect. Ta, not ta. Remove the Hamza, which is the apostrophe here. Va, not va. Tha, not tha. Remove the glottal sound. Ha, not ha. Remove the Hamza, remove the sound. Ya, not ya. Actually, I will save it as that. I will attach both documents or both images, one with the correction, one without, in case you do not like the appearance of the X. Just remember, remove the glottal sound of the accent Hamza in these letters. That is incorrect. At the beginning, yes, of alif, alif, yes, that is correct. Everywhere else is incorrect. Finally, which is the actual finally, here is a diagram of a group of letters with, at the bottom here, very transparent, almost transparent, gray images of the letter for you to trace the letters over. This is an incredible exercise with regards to writing, particularly writing or drawing the shape of the actual letter. As this list and this image, I found them all on Google, so if you do not like the resolution of the images I am providing, you can find the list or the list of these documents on Google Images or Pinterest. So do not worry that you will not find it anywhere online, but I will provide it as well. I am only doubtful that because technology is not my forte, unfortunately, I do not know if I'll be able to post links in the description or even a Google Drive link. I will try, but that is why I'm also leaving the pictures or the images on the screen. That way you can pause the video and print the image. You do not have to adhere to these number of lines. You can increase them. I would advise that you have a page per letter. So if you can fit an alif, maybe how many columns would it take? Probably 6 or 7, depending on how big your handwriting is or how large it is. As for rows, I would recommend filling rows that would take the entire page on your notebook. So if it's a small notebook, maybe 7 rows. If it's a larger notebook, 10 to 12, depending on if you skip a line or not. So I would recommend filling an entire page of only one letter. That way you are able to practice drawing, but it is up to you how you wish to pace yourself. If you want to fill this entire page in your notebook and then repeat it again later, it is up to you. I am simply offering the tools. How you wish to utilize them is entirely up to you. I could not find a traceable diagram for the Hamza. So if you would like to trace over this and then copy the same style again, it is up to you. However, this is a computerized font. You do not have to draw the Hamza at an angle. It is also a straight line as such. It does not have to be at an angle like so. This is from Alif to Kha. Let's see, here is from Dal to Sad. Here is from Dad to Qaf. And here is from Kaf to Ya. I hope I covered all the letters. If I forgot a letter, please let me know. For this letter, I should probably cover this in the list here. The reason I did not cover it is because the circle you saw right here for the ha, it is normally drawn at certain locations in a word, not all the time. And normally when people represent the letter ha, they do not represent it as such. They represent it with the strange triangular shape. Some people, however, draw ha as a circle. I would advise you writing it or learning it that way, because this circle will be covered when we dissect the letter into 3 portions. How do you write it at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word? This circle will play a role in that lecture, God willing. So for now, I would like for you to memorize this shape instead. However, if you would like to memorize both of them, go ahead. But ignore this for now, especially since this is also used instead of this when words are written. So it is. We will discuss the circle, of course, but not today, in another lecture. However, I would like for you to know this shape as well, because it is important and you will see it in multiple books. So unfortunately, I could not find a proper ha tracing exercise. So if you would like, you can trace over my handwriting. I know it is not beautiful, but what is important is the shape. If you make the circle smaller, no problem. Some people even write the ha like so, and the circle doesn't even touch the triangle. That is acceptable. I guess you could say this is the best way of drawing the ha, where the circle touches the end of the triangle. However, if you wish to resize the circle, go ahead, as long as it is not larger than the triangle itself. And we will cover drawing the letters once more, once we see how each letter is shaped with respect to its position in a word. That was the end of the first lecture. I hope it was helpful and beneficial to the viewer. If you feel that I missed a topic or an aspect of this lecture, please let me know in the comments below. If you would like to share other videos that teach Arabic, please feel free to share them so that everyone can benefit, including myself. And if you have any questions regarding this particular lecture, please feel free to message me. Most of your questions will probably be answered in the later lectures, but feel free to ask them regardless. I will happily answer, even if I did not post or upload the videos pertaining to your questions. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and take care, and see you in the next video.